Morning, children. Hope you all are fine. Hope you all are safe. And start preparing for your first year first year university exams. The dates has been for the other university exams. The exams are remaining in the same scheduled time. So you too should be prepared for the upcoming university exam. This is for the first time you are appearing for Kuha's exam. So it's having some alterations other from when compared to that of the other university exams. Our Kuha's exams are something peculiar in nature. That is, the question papers are uh, can be availed only at the time of the examination, and we are being screened using the webcams. So the students are under strict invigilation, right? So study well, take care, drink lots and lots of water, right? Take nutritious food and stay safe. Okay. So meanwhile, I think I'll continue with our second year portions. We have been discussing on our metabolism of lipids, fatty acids, right? And we've completed the beta oxidation, the other minor oxidative pathways of saturated fatty acids like beta oxidation, alpha oxidation, omega oxidation. I think all of those peroxisomal oxidation, etc. All of them are finished. Now there's one more remaining portion. A small topic is to be completed. That is the the oxidation of unsaturated fatty acids. That's the only thing remaining in the oxidative pathways of fatty acids. So I thought I'll complete it. Then we'll go into the next portion, right? So we haven't had any classes for a pretty long time. So I thought, since you are also having study holidays, you get enough time. So whenever you get time, you may watch the video and go through the classes. But I'm not at all insisting you for study now itself. Now you concentrate on your first year portions itself. But when the exams are over, you must watch the videos and should be up to date. Okay, I am only taking the classes for the meanwhile. Okay, so that you will not be getting frustrated when you come back, because the portions should not get accumulated. You should not be under pressure. That's why I'm taking small portions. Okay, so there is a bit more to be taken under fatty acid oxidation, and that is the oxidation of unsaturated fatty acids, right? So what's the difference between a saturated fatty acid and an unsaturated fatty acid? Saturated fatty acids are those fatty acids which are not having any double bonds in their structure. What are unsaturated fatty acids? Unsaturated fatty acids are those fatty acids which are having double bonds. Again, you might have studied in the first year that the unsaturation can again fall into two categories based on the number of double bonds. Based on the number of double bonds, the unsaturated fatty acids are again classified into two types: the monounsaturated fatty acids and polyunsaturated fatty acids. And again, you might have studied what's importance of unsaturated fatty acids. Unsaturated fatty acids protects the body, right? They are much more safer. They are much more healthier than that of the saturated fatty acids. ഒരു വെളിച്ചെണ്ണ കഴിക്കണേക്കാട്ടിലും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വെളിച്ചെണ്ണയിൽ ഉണ്ടാക്കണ പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യണ ഫുഡിനെക്കാട്ടിലും എപ്പോഴും ഹെൽത്തിയർ ആയിട്ടുള്ളത് എന്താണ്? ഒരു സൺഫ്ലവർ ഓയിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മസ്റ്റേർഡ് ഓയിൽ, റൈറ്റ്? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സോയ ഓയിൽ, റൈറ്റ്? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ റൈസ് ബ്രാൻ ഓയിൽ, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള വെജിറ്റബിൾ ഓയിൽസ് കഴിക്കുന്നതാണ്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫിഷ് ഓയിൽസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫിഷ് ഇസ് very good for health എന്ന് പറയാൻ കാരണം എന്താണ്? Because they are made up of the fish contains lot of polyunsaturated fatty acids. So what is the importance? What's the significance of unsaturation? What is the importance of double bonds present in a fatty acid? How do they protect the body? How do they protect the body? They protect the body in the fact that if there is any free radical that is being generated, these double bonds which are being unstable, because the pi bond is sigma bond and pi bond is there. Pi bond is somewhat weaker than that of the sigma bond, right? That is, eppozhum single bond double bond they are more susceptible for reactions because the pi bond is highly unstable in nature. So these pi bonds, when they encounter with an free radical, immediately the free radical can attack the double bond. That is, in other sense, these free radicals will be easily scavenged by the double bonds containing fatty acids, thereby removing the free radicals from the body. So that is why they are more healthier. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് cardiac patients അല്ലെങ്കിൽ heart diseases ഒക്കെ prevent ചെയ്യാൻ vegetable oils കഴിക്കണം എന്ന് പറയാൻ കാരണം because vegetable oils are rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids. അത് vegetables മെയിൻ ആയിട്ടുള്ള സോഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് vegetable oils ആണ്. അതുപോലെ broccoli, right? Green leafy vegetables like broccoli, അതൊക്കെ they're rich in antioxidants. Antioxidant activity ഒരുപാടുള്ള molecules അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതാണ് vegetable oils, then green leafy vegetables, etc. അതുപോലെ നോൺ വെജിറ്റേറിയൻ സോഴ്സിലെ ഏറ്റവും ബെസ്റ്റ് source of unsaturated fatty acid is a fish. It contains polyunsaturated fatty acids. That is, it contains more than one number of double bonds. Double bondകളുടെ എണ്ണം കൂടുന്തോറും എന്താണ്, they are more healthier for the body because അത്രയും ഒരുമിച്ച് these double bonds can attack the free radicals. ഒരേ സമയം തന്നെ ഒന്നിൽ കൂടുതൽ double bond ഉണ്ടാവുമ്പോൾ അത്രയും efficient ആയിട്ട് they can scavenge the free radical and can protect the body from free radical attack, or they can bring about antioxidant activity. So that's the importance of unsaturated fatty acids. So what happens if the MUFA or the MUFA, monounsaturated fatty acids or polyunsaturated fatty acids, how are they oxidized in the body? Once they are consumed, what is their fate? How are they catabolized in the body? So that was a small portion which was to be taken, right? But at that time I was not able to take class for you. That was why a break has been created. Now I am trying to resume the class, and today we'll start with the oxidation of unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, so before going to the unsaturated fatty acids, I'll revise the beta oxidation of saturated fatty acids first, because it is a beta oxidation itself is happening in the case of unsaturated fatty acids also. That is, unsaturated fatty acids are also catabolized by means of beta oxidation. So which were the steps? What are the steps happening in the beta oxidation? There were two oxidation reactions, then there is a hydration reaction, and there is a thiolytic cleavage. Only 4 steps were there happening in the beta oxidation, right? It starts with the oxidation of acyl-CoA dehydrogenase by FAD, so that a double bond was introduced. Here and then a double bond was introduced with the release of FADH2, right? So that trans-2-enoyl CoA is formed. In the case of, suppose palmitoic acid anangil, C16 fatty acid anangil, palmitic acid anangil, palmitic acid is first subject for acyl-CoA dehydrogenase enzyme, so that trans-2-palmitoyl CoA is synthesized. This trans-2-palmitoyl-CoA is acted upon by hydratase enzyme, that is, water is introduced, and 3-hydroxy-acyl-CoA. That is, the double bond was again the double bond introduced was again removed by means of water molecule, and a hydroxyl group was introduced on the 3rd position. And in the next round, what is happening? 3-hydroxy-acyl-CoA dehydrogenase. A 3OH in the CHOH and H remove with the രണ്ടാമത്തെ double bond is introduced. So that COH is now converted to C double bond O. So this is the second round of dehydrogenation reaction, and there it is carried out by the coenzyme NAD, right? And beta keto-acyl-CoA or 3-keto-acyl-CoA. And finally what happens? Beta keto-acyl-CoA thiolase. That is, the last 2 carbon atoms are removed in the form of acetyl-CoA. So this was the steps happening in each round of beta oxidation, right? In a normal saturated fatty acid. So first there is a dehydrogenation in which a double bond is introduced, and this is followed by hydration reaction where the double bond is again removed by means of introduction of a water molecule, so that an OH is introduced on the 3rd position. In the next step, what happens? The OH is again removed. That is, second round of dehydrogenation happens. Beta keto-acyl-CoA or 3-keto-acyl-CoA is formed, and the last one is the removal of 2 carbons in the form of acetyl-CoA. So these were the reactions happening in a single round of beta oxidation, and the process is repeated till all the molecules are removed in the form of acetyl-CoA molecules. Clear? So that is how a C16 palmitic acid is cleaved. How many rounds? 7 rounds of beta oxidation happens, so that 8 molecules of acetyl-CoA is generated, right? So this is how the beta oxidation is happening in the case of palmitic acid. Now, this palmitic acid itself can undergo unsaturation. C16 palmitic acid in the unsaturated form we call it as palmito-oleic acid. Palmito-oleic acid. palmitoleic acid. So, what is palmitoleic acid? Palmitoleic acid is an unsaturated fatty acid, but with the same number of carbon atoms. C16 തന്നെ, പക്ഷെ the difference is that palmitic acid differs from palmitoleic acid in the case that palmitoleic acid is an unsaturated fatty acid and has only one double bond with a single double bond. So it's an example for a monounsaturated fatty acid. Clear? So monounsaturated fatty acid, example for a monounsaturated fatty acid is palmitoleic acid. Another example for a monounsaturated fatty acid is oleic acid. Oleic acid, right? Olive oil, oleic acid. It is having See, the next higher member, that is C18 fatty acid and oleic acid. Clear, but with again a single double bond. So examples for monounsaturated fatty acids are palmitoleic acid and oleic acid. Clear. So palmitic acid, what happens to palmitic acid? Palmitic acid, when it is entering into beta oxidation, first palmitic acid is converted to palmitoyl CoA. Palmitoyl CoA is acted upon by palmitoyl CoA dehydrogenase. So that trans 2 palmitoyl CoA is formed. Then enoyl CoA hydratase action comes. So that 3-hydroxy palmitoyl CoA is formed. Then 3-hydroxy palmitoyl CoA dehydrogenase converts 3-hydroxy palmitoyl CoA to 3-keto palmitoyl CoA or beta keto palmitoyl CoA. And finally, what happens in the last step, thiolytic cleavage happens, so that C16 palmitoyl CoA is now converted into a C14 fatty acid with the remaining 2 carbons released in the form of acetyl CoA. Clear? So this is how the beta oxidation happens in case of palmitic acid. Now what happens in palmitoleic acid? Palmitoleic acid is the same fatty acid, but the difference is that even though it is having C16 carbon atoms, the difference between palmitic acid and palmitoleic acid is that it is having a double bond in between the 9th and the 10th carbon atom. In between the 9th and the 10th carbon atom, it is having a double bond. And again, another thing is that in the natural sources, naturalized varana, either fatty acid angle, the double bonds are in the form of cis conformation. Cis fatty acids are cis trans isomers. Cis ഉള്ളത് കൊണ്ടാണ് കുറച്ച് സ്റ്റെബിലിറ്റി കൂടുതൽ കിട്ടുന്നത്. ട്രാൻസിലേക്ക് മാറിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവർക്ക് ഷെൽഫ് ലൈഫ് കുറയും. Clear? So all the naturally occurring unsaturated fatty acids will be having double bonds in their cis conformation. Okay, so cis conformation is there, or the double bond which is existing between the 9th and the 10th carbon atom, right? 9th and the 10th carbon atom, and again the double bond is in the cis conformation, right? So now we are going to study how the beta oxidation is happening in case of palmitoleic acid. So oxidation of unsaturated ആണെങ്കിലും unsaturated ആണെങ്കിലും ഒരു long chain fatty acid ആണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, suppose if it is a long chain fatty acid, the fatty acids are usually or normally undergoing oxidation by means of beta oxidative pathways. Clear? So again the pathway starts with an ordinary beta oxidation. അതായത് C16 palmitic acid എങ്ങനെ beta oxidation start ചെയ്തോ അതേപോലെ തന്നെയാണ് palmitoleic acid beta oxidation start ചെയ്യുക. That is, it starts from the C1 or the alpha carbon atom. Okay, so either revise I have kept this slide. Okay, so this is the normal beta oxidation. So what happens in case of palmitoleic acid? Right. So this is the right. So in the oxidation of unsaturated fatty acids, most of the reactions are the same as in the case of saturated fatty acids, unless or until it come across the double bond. Double bond എത്തുന്ന വരെ എല്ലാ reactions same ആണ്. Clear? Double bond എത്തിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ beta oxidative enzymes do not know what to do. Clear? അപ്പോൾ double bond എത്തുന്നതിന്റെ തൊട്ട് തലയെ carbon atom വരെ the reaction is almost the same, right? And there are some additional steps that we'll come to discuss when we'll come across a metabolism. So this is the structure of palmitoleic acid, right? There is a C16 fatty acid with 7, 8, 9, right? So the double bond. This is the position of the double bond. That is the C7, 8, the 9 and 10, right? So this is the 9th carbon atom. This is the 10th carbon atom. See, the Double bond is in the cis conformation.